Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. On Thursday night, Resident Evil 4 Remake officially launched. And with that, obviously, tons of videos went out the day that game came out, and people have been giving the reviews, talking about it, telling how they feel about it, and I wanted to do the same. I want to first of all say, if you have not played the game yet, or have not finished the game, please do that, because this video is going to contain spoilers for the game, and I don't want to spoil the game for you guys, so strap yourselves in, and let's get started. So, I finished the game on hardcore difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty you can choose at on the go. And once you beat the game for the first time, you unlock the professional difficulty. And I thought that hardcore difficulty was honestly to me the perfect difficulty, just because and this is for me personally, I felt like I was running out of ammo a lot. Like once I reached the castle section, I felt like I was running out of ammo quite a lot. Like I had no shotgun ammo, I had no TMP ammo or rifle ammo, and I was just running out of ammo constantly. And I wanted the game to feel like that, and feel like a survival horror game. So I like the fact that I was running out of ammo constantly throughout the duration of the game, and I absolutely loved it. And obviously that's just for me personally. Some of you might think differently about how you feel about the difficulty, and maybe it's too hard or it's too easy, I don't know, but I felt it was a perfect set difficulty that was perfect for the game, and it was not too hard and it wasn't too easy. It was just perfect for me. Another thing, and I guess can go quite into the story of the game. Incredible, let me just say. Obviously, the original compared to the remake is pretty different, if I'm being honest. When it comes to areas, they've added some story. They've they've added things such as like Luis. Now Hunnigan, they've added now Hunnigan telling us that Luis is a part of the Umbrella, things like that. And it's like, I love how they added story to the game, because it also adds more lore to the Resident Evil universe and where all that fits in. And honestly, I think that the perfect thing about the gameplay, as where I can go into now, I love the new Parry system. Let me tell you that. The Parry system is incredible. It fits right. I definitely felt like it felt right with the game, because there are certain situations where you need to utilize the parry system constantly. One thing I don't really like about the parry system is how it punishes you both ways, where if you parry with your knife, it's going to when you parry with your knife, it's going to, what's it called? I'm trying to think here. When you parry with your knife, it removes some of the durability from the knife. And I felt like, and especially with the perfect parry, like when you parried perfectly, which basically was like something where, when you were parrying, that perfect parry will stun the enemy for a couple of seconds, and in those quick seconds you can kick the enemy. Just like the original, it will take out, if there's a crowd of people around that one enemy that you just stunned, it will knock over all the other enemies when you kick. But I don't like that it punishes you. I feel like if you parry perfectly, I think it should not punish you. I think, in fact, it should just keep the durability from the knife. And it's the same thing when the enemy goes down. When they're doing that little, shaking on the ground like you just saw there. And they're, the parasite's about to come out of their head. If you don't act quick enough, it also punishes you for doing that, for killing the enemy on the floor. But at the same time, you want to kill that enemy on the floor with your knife, because if you don't, it's just going to get the plagas out of their head. So it's just like, it's kind of a lose-lose situation there. So you kind of just have to melee the enemy on the ground. But I will say I love the new parry. I love the new parry system. It's fantastic, and it felt right with the game, and I love it. But I will say that the game feels very weird, and I don't know if it's just me or I don't know, but it feels very clunky. Like the controls on controller, especially. I haven't played on keyboard and mouse, but when I'm on controller, it feels very clunky when I'm moving around, and it might just be the input delay, because I heard there's some input delay with a game on console. If that's the case, it's kind of dumb, but I do think that the game, yeah, I don't know, it feels just a bit clunky, just a bit. It doesn't feel crazy clunky or not playable at all, but it definitely feels a bit weird. However, I do like the all of the things, such as when it comes to the gunplay. I think the guns are they're not like crazy overpowered like they were in the original, which I do like. The enemies are much stronger in this remake. They are much faster, and there are more of them. So it's like, you got to reserve your ammo you got to reserve your ammo. It's like a survival horror game. It's exactly like how it was with Resident Evil 1 and 2, where you have to conserve your ammo in order to survive, which I like that. But it kind of leads me to the areas of the game. Let me tell you, I love the areas in the game. It feels the atmosphere and environment of each area feels amazing. They feel great, and I love everything. I love it. I love the village section. I love the castle section, and I love the island section. They all are amazing. They definitely they improved these areas a lot. And especially with the minecart section with Luis, where you actually have to control the minecart this time, so you don't, lose your balance on the cart and, tip over or anything like that. And you have to shoot the enemies on the minecart, otherwise they're gonna shoot your minecart and you're gonna die. But let me go to the castle section. So the castle section of this game is crazy, to say the least. It's definitely insane, because this part especially, this part felt so, like, how do I explain this? It felt so like you had to move, like you're on the move constantly. There were some points where I was like dying quite a lot and doing anything like that, but I do think that it was good. I loved it. I love how you got to be on your feet. You got to move. You got to move constantly. And this time around, you actually just can't. You actually can't just shoot the bear or shoot the enemies up top with the those. You have to actually kill them with the cannon, in order to just completely get rid of them, it's cool, and I like that. It makes you, it doesn't make it easy. It doesn't make it harder. It makes it a bit harder, but it doesn't make it, easier. It makes it quite fittable for the scenario. So yeah, but the castle section, absolutely. In the original, it was my favorite section of the game. In the remake, it is still my favorite section of the game. It's fast paced. It's definitely fast paced. Definitely, like, this area is fast paced. environment and the atmosphere of the castle is incredible, and I love every bit of the castle section. And I think that they definitely improved this area a lot. However, the and I think it's the maybe it's just me, but I think with the Ashley thing, I don't know how I feel about the new Ashley mechanics. I mean, I like them. I do really like them, but they definitely feel a little bit weirder. And sometimes she's still a pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie. She definitely gets on my nerves sometimes when I'm in these areas and trying to do something. Like I'm trying to kill all these enemies, but Ashley's just in my way. And you have those two commands, and this time around, you actually can't you actually can't tell her to just stay in one place. She actually follows you everywhere. And you only have two commands, which is tight and loose. Tight, which is basically her just basically sticking to your back, and then loose, which is good for dodging enemies and not getting hit. But it definitely feels sometimes like she gets very annoying because you want her to keep moving, but she's in that loose position where she's got to stay distant from you so she doesn't get hit by any enemies throwable things. Once the enemies throw things at you. But I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. I like her better in this I do like her better in the remake. I think she's not as annoying. She's definitely still annoying, but she's not as annoying as she was in the original. And I think that with the whole, like she's all right. I don't mind her, but I do wish in some situations I could just tell her to stay in one place so I can go off and do something else. But she has to stick with you, that type of thing, those type of things. But it's alright. I think that with the island section, actually I could go into the bosses right now. The bosses of the game, which let me tell you, the new design looks of every single boss is amazing. I love how Mendez looks. I love how Salazar. Well, Salazar's a little bit weird, but I'll have to get used to him. I love the new look of Mendez and the Verdugo enemies, and I love I love how the El Gigantes look. The El Gigantes look incredible. And they're definitely a lot more beefier now. And what I love about this game is it punishes you for I guess not punishes you, but the game isn't holding on to your hand throughout the entire game. It kind of lets you go out, and it's a lot more explorable. In areas you can actually explore the environment and do a lot more than the original, because in the original it was kind of just a linear path and you just go into one straight line until you beat the game. Now you have so many places to go. You can explore a bit, explore different areas, and get a lot more treasures and encounter a lot more enemies. But for killing those enemies, you actually get to get more treasures and get more out of the game. However, here's the thing. So with the what was I gonna say? I'm blanking right now. Actually, I'm not gonna say anything because I'm gonna end off the video there, I think. This game, in all, let me just kind of wrap things up here. Overall, I gotta say, in my opinion, this is the single-handedly greatest video game of all time again. The original was the best game of all time, and now the remake is the best game of all time again for the second time. And obviously that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree or anything like that, but for me personally, I think this is better than the original. I think that it's more replayable. I think there's a lot more to do, and I think that I'm not shitting on the original. Like, I still love the original to death. But in my opinion, this is the best Resident Evil game of the year in my opinion. If I'm gonna say right now, I think this deserves game of the year. I don't think it's gonna win because we have Hogwarts Legacy, and then we have Zelda coming out in like a month and a half. So we got that to wait for. But for right now, in my opinion, this is game of the year. This deserves game of the year. It built off of the original and expanded upon it. It made it better graphically and gameplay wise, and also the environment is a lot more scary and a lot more Resident Evil like. So I think out of 10, I got to give this a 10 out of 10. I think this is the single greatest Resident Evil game that has ever come out, and I think it's amazing. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you think about this game. Do you think it deserves game of the year? Do you think it's a good Resident Evil game? I know many people think this is good, but also a lot of people don't think. They're like, it's alright, but this, for me, is the best Resident Evil game. So without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.